It's getting worse. We're going to call the meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. for Tuesday, November 4th of our committee of the whole special board meeting. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Trustee Sanchez.
I'm going to call Trustee Sanchez again.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Owsley. Here. Trustee Smalley.
Here.
Trustee Brandon.
Here.
Mayor Booker.
Here.
Quorum present.
All right. Can we do invocations from Trustee Williams and then the Pledge of Allegiance? And Trustee Sanchez has joined the call at 7:04 p.m.
Trustee Sanchez, can you confirm why you're not able to be present?
He said confirm reason why.
The reason why?
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your loving kindness, your mercy, and your grace. Thank you, God, for allowing us to come together one more time in your presence, take care of the business of the village of Maywood. Thank you for each and every person that traveled here today, God, and for those that are still on their way, we ask for traveling grace and mercy. We ask for your grace just to cover this meeting, God. Allow your Holy Spirit to reign in this meeting. Allow decorum to reign in this meeting, God. Put us in a place in you where we will not be distracted by our surroundings. Touch each and every family that's affected by what's going on today, God. And we ask in your name that you send out special blessings to cover those that are bereaved, that's on the agenda for bereaved, and for those in your presence. In Jesus' name we thank you. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. One of the things also reflects that Assistant Village Manager Tracy Day is in place of Village Manager Torres for the board meeting today. All right, I need 5, approval of minutes for the Village Board meeting of Board of Trustees on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Brandon, I need a second. Second by Trustee Owsley. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez. Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Owsley. Aye. Trustee Smalley.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Booker.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, oaths, reports, proclamations, announcements, and appointments from Director of Community Engagement, Ms. Banks.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, Maywood residents.
Good evening.
The Village of Maywood extends its condolences to the families that are currently experiencing bereavement. We've been notified of the family of Mr. Antoine Finley. Please keep that family in your thoughts and prayers during this time. Upcoming events. The village is hosting the Embracing Special Needs and Neurodivergent Learning Network and Community Dinner on tomorrow, Wednesday, November 5th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Maywood Masonic Temple at 200 South 5th Avenue. Come and learn about special education programs and services for neurodivergent learners. The Healthy Maywood West Cook Quarterly Lunch and Learn will be held on Thursday, November 13th from 12 to 1:30 p.m. at the Maywood Masonic Temple. Come and meet our new Economic Innovation and Sustainability Department, our new Community Commercial Resource Officers, our new Assistant Village Manager, and learn more about our Crisis Management Response Hub and Partner Space, as well as updates for 2025 and looking ahead to 2026. Also on that same day, on Thursday, November 13th, in the evening, we will host a Maywood Community Dinner and Discussion from 6 until 7:30 p.m. at the Maywood Masonic Temple to discuss the same topics I just mentioned. So if you're unable to attend during the day, please come out that evening. It's leaf season in the Village of Maywood. Starting November 1st, our Public Works team has started collecting leaves to coincide with our street sweeping schedule. We are asking residents to only place leaves in piles, do not include branches, twigs, dirt, etc. This causes damage to our equipment and will delay the collection process. Also, please rake your leaves away from any sewer drains to prevent clogging and flooding. If you miss your leaf collection day, please place your leaves in a brown, dark waste bag or container marked yard waste and sit it out with your weekly trash. For assistance or more questions, please call Public Works at 708-450-4482. Also refer to our village website for the collection days by zones. The senior snow removal applications are now available via our village website and Village Hall, and also are available here tonight at the meeting. Starting November 1st through December 15th, eligibility requirements are Maywood seniors aged 65 years and older. Any questions, also call Public Works for assistance. As we prepare for the Thanksgiving holiday season, the Village of Maywood, in collaboration with Black Men United, will host our Day of Giving Thanks on Saturday, November 15th, from 2 until 5 p.m. at the Maywood Masonic Temple, 200 South 5th Avenue. Save the date for Small Business Saturday on November 29th. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And join us as we shop and eat local from 2 to 6 p.m. along our 5th Avenue corridor, also known as downtown 5th Avenue. As we look ahead to the Christmas holiday season, mark your calendars for our annual tree lighting ceremony and Winter Wonderland experience on Friday, December 5th, from 5 until 8 p.m. at a new location at Connor Heights Park on 10th and Washington. Bring the whole family for an evening of fun entertainment as we light up 10th Park for the holidays. As a reminder, visit the village website at maywood-il.gov to stay abreast of all current and upcoming village events.
Thank you, Ms. Banks. Trustee Brandon?
Yeah, I just want to add, as it relates to the announcements, individuals across the village of Maywood, approximately 2,000 individuals who have been impacted by the loss of SNAP benefits or the cuts to it. I just want to make sure that we amplify our food pantries that are throughout the village of Maywood. New Horizon Church over at 401 South 5th Avenue. They're open every Wednesday in providing food to individuals, as well as Second Baptist Church, located off 13th Washington Boulevard. They also are providing food. God Heritage Church over on 5th Avenue and I believe that's Green. They also are stepping up to provide food for individuals as well, and looking at ways to expand their capacity to help individuals and families impacted by the loss of SNAP benefits. We convened a meeting last week in reference to expanding the capacities of local food pantries throughout the village of Maywood. And again, there are close to, or about 2,000 people in the village of Maywood that have been impacted by the loss of their SNAP benefits. And so that is most certainly happening. There will be some communication going out about different ways the community can step up and get involved, but I most certainly would encourage the community to do a few things. Look at ways you can volunteer. Most certainly look at ways you can donate to support their efforts to purchase additional food, and then support those individual food pantries and those volunteers who are already on the front line dealing with unprecedented numbers of individuals coming to their food pantries for support. And most certainly to the folks in our Hispanic community as well. If you know you have a neighbor who may be afraid to come out because of ICE, who may be afraid to go to the grocery store, those are all opportunities for us as a community to step up and to be of service to all of our residents across the village of Maywood. And I had another opportunity to stop by some businesses along Lake Street. There are a few restaurants that are Hispanic-owned restaurants, and a lot of their clientele are members of the Hispanic community. We most certainly can do more to support their efforts. As I spoke to the owner over on the 7th and Lake of the little restaurant that's over there, she said her numbers have dropped drastically. And so in this moment, in this time, we will be evaluated as it relates to how we respond, right? As an overall community, as a whole. So my message is to all of us as a community that we, can do more specifically in those two areas. From our food pantries throughout the village of Maywood, support them in their efforts, making sure that, we're making donations, identifying opportunities to volunteer, and to our businesses that are being impacted by this whole ICE fiasco, to those businesses who are just hanging on to survive. I'll encourage all Maywoodians to support those businesses across the village of Maywood as they struggle to keep their doors open. And my other thing, too, I wanted to state, Ms. Baker, I heard you mention some names. One of the things that I'm trying to figure out how to deal with the appropriate way. I heard some names that were mentioned that the folks who are going to be introduced to the community. The appropriate thing first for them to be introduced to the board. There are a lot of moving parts in the village, and there are a lot of people who are on board, off board that we just don't even know as a legislator on this dais, who worked for the village. And so I'm having to call to figure out, okay, almost who's new today, and these are some key roles within the village of Maywood that I don't even know work for the village of Maywood, and I'm in the dark. So as a legislator on this dais, I find it to be a little bit disrespectful to me at least, that I'm finding out, when the general community find out about some of these key people that's being hired. And so how it normally would go is the board would be informed or introduced to whomever the person is, so that we know, or that we can be able to respond to the community, the people who we have to report to. And we're moving away from that, and I find it to be disrespectful and also just unhealthy for an organization that we help to oversee, as governing officers of the village of Maywood. And so I did hear those names. I don't know the people, but normally it would be the village manager, and this is not on you. I know this is not on you. No, I'm just airing right now. But so this is not on you. But normally it would be the person in the village manager role before we bring on big people even this evening we have an assistant village manager that I didn't even know we even had in the role, right? And so all of these different things are just very concerning to me, that we would be anyone. Because it's just respect, right? This is the first step, that we should be informed about some of these major things that, we are overseeing, and we are, this organization, and there's so many moving parts that we just are left out in the dark, or I don't know if it's just me, or some of us, or all of us. I don't know what it is, but I just wanted to make sure I just aired that out, because it was on my mind. I'm like, what is going on? So, again, the normal process would be someone to inform us that we were looking at these critical roles and who we're looking to bring in based on whatever their qualifications may be. And so we just wasn't, I'm going to speak for me. I wasn't afforded that opportunity to know who is what and where they at, why they're there. Even as it relates to the structure of where offices are located. Who office is moving where, why their office is moving there. None of that information is available to us, and I just feel left out in the dark about the whole entire thing, and find it to be disrespectful as an elected official, someone who was elected to serve. And so I don't know who that is on. I don't know if that was that a Frank issue or who we gonna put it on, but it needs to be corrected. It needs to be corrected. We should not be finding out when the public find out about different things, because if they're coming to us for things, we should know, before they find out. And so, that's my piece. But I had to add that on because it was on my mind. I wanted to make sure I did not forget that as I was listening to you call out names of some, very key people, and we said we're going to introduce them to the community November 13th, and they haven't even been introduced to this board or to some of these board members that's on this board. Me at least. And so I just wanted to put that out there while it was on my mind. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Banks. One thing I will say is, Trustee, you knew that Tracy Bay was the assistant village manager, so I'm saying.
I'm sorry?
You're saying you're just learning just now that she's the assistant village manager, you knew that, you've called her, talked about it already.
Right,
But
well,
I'm just saying, so let me just say this.
No.
Trustee, it's a simple fix. All we have to do is ask the village, HR director to have a template of new employee announcements. When new employees start in the village of Maywood, we just do an announcement and send it out. So heard you, understand you.
yeah.
That's a simple fix.
Yeah, no, Mayor, and you are correct. I'm just saying the what you're not correct in is how I find out. It's about the streets of Maywood, some of these major decisions.
My point
And
is,
all I'm
you're
saying
saying you just found
is-
out right now, that's not accurate. That's all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, trustee, belabored, understood, got you. A
And I'm
simple
just
fix
saying,
is-
what's your comment?
the
I
HR
understand.
director is right there.
No,
I'm
I'm-
saying, James, it's very easy to create a one-pager announcement when new hires get hired. When it gets sent out to the employees, make sure it gets sent out to the board. That's a simple fix. We don't need 20 more minutes of the conversation. It's a simple fix.
No.
When new people, because guess
Yeah, I
what?
understand.
Your policy, you're not day-to-day operations.
Right.
So you don't get to hire a fire. The only person that is the village manager, right?
Right.
So the simple fix to what you're saying is the HR director, when we have new employees come on, send out an announcement of new hires. That's a simple fix.
I agree with you on that, but what I'm saying is, as far as key roles are concerned in the village of Maywood, the manager, whomever that is, should have a conversation with the board as it relates to any major roles
That's a
within the village of
desire.
Maywood.
That's not policy.
I'm
That's
sorry,
a
what?
desire. That's a desire of yours. That's not a
No,
policy.
that has been a practice, not only a desire of mine, it has been how the village has operated.
Trustee, the only person that reports to you is the village manager. The village manager hires and fires. The village manager handles day-to-day operations, which you all have no problem reminding me of. So at the end of the day, the only thing you can get, which is a very simple fix, is from the HR director. When somebody starts on their first day, or when they're hired, a notice goes out to the staff and the board saying that this person has been hired. You hire.
Not with major roles.
You hire and fire the village manager. That's it.
Not with major roles.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That is
Major roles,
That
the
is a
board needs to be
preference.
informed.
That is a preference. The board will be informed by the HR director moving forward of any new hires, regardless if they're a director, assistant village manager, or a cashier. Any new hire, a simple introductory letter goes out. It's a simple fix. Okay. Moving on to finance management reports. Does anybody have anything for Director Satchel for a financial report or a warrant list? Hearing none.
Mayor,
Trustee Jones?
financial report, Maywood Fest. In terms of like the 2025 consolidated revenue expense, high level, would you know where we landed? And then,
Just want to interject. Maywood Fest will be discussed during the board retreat. So the board retreat on December 9th, we'll have a whole report of Maywood Fest.
but what about, so we can't, are we prohibited from talking about it until then, or can I get a high level? Is that okay?
A full report will be given during the board retreat. So, I mean, anything now will be like a draft of what's going to be.
I'm just going high level. I mean, it happened in September. It's, high level, just looking to see, maybe, do we have any major outstanding invoices? Was it a high level, was it a success? I would just like to know.
From a high level, I believe that we do have all of the invoices accounted for. We received about 50 plus in revenue. The expense was approximately 145 for the Maywood Fest itself. And then due to the expansion of the Maywood Fest, we had additional security costs that weren't in the Maywood Fest line. That's something that the police department utilized some of their funds for
Okay.
on a high level.
All right, great. Then I'll just look forward to when we can get that final one, just so the community can know how that event is. Because essentially, the reason why I'm asking is because we've had a stance for a while, Mayor, that we didn't want taxpayers, footing that bill, or there should be a return on the investment. So it was a success. It was a great time. It was safe. But what was the return on the investment? How much did it cost the taxpayers to host that event? So we know for future, we're about to start the levy process and the budget process, and I like to just kind of know that going into it. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, village president's report. Anybody have anything in regards to anything on the village president's report? The one thing that attorney just advised me of is on the omnibus agenda, the appointment for Janice Killingsworth for the Maywood Planning and Zoning Commission isn't on the omnibus agenda, so I need a motion to get that approved now. Motion to approve by
Second.
trustee Allen, trustee Jones as a second. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez? Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Owsley? Trustee Smiley? Trustee Brandon?
Aye.
Mayor Booker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, can I ask a question about nominating? So I just want to make sure that as we're agreeing to these dates, that we can also agree to, once we approve this, have a formal process if we're going to not have a meeting on this date. Just something in writing and just ensuring that it's posted in public, and some sort of reason
Give
comes
the
on.
date change.
I'm sorry.
Give the date change.
Yeah, so in the event that there is a board change, one, just like some sort of record of the reason why and then what each board member's response was to that, just so we can just confirm we're all being at the same thing, understand why, what's the replacement date, and then that could be posted in replacement to the agenda. So individuals know when the next meeting was, both the stance of each board member on why.
So we just make it a practice of if the date changes to still put out a notice instead of the agenda, putting up that the date has been changed, and then just poll the board when we do a date change.
Mayor.
Trustee Brandon?
Yes, under item number 9C, just for the context of the residents, so they could understand, I know some things are going to be left for executive session, but as it relates to the Director of Finance serving in the role of the village manager, and the Director of Finance being the interim village manager, because the manager is out, it's just important for the residents to know that, yeah, the manager will be out for some time. The finance director, who within the village of Maywood meets the qualifications, one of the few employees that we have in the village of Maywood who meets the qualifications for this particular role, will be serving as the interim village manager because she meets the qualifications. And I believe that it has always made sense for that to be the direction. And I'm happy to see that we have arrived here because I know in the past we've done some different things with that. But most certainly the residents who ultimately pays the salary, a very high salary of a village manager, to know that he will be out and that the director of finance will be serving because of health or medical reasons. He's out.
So the village manager is on leave. During this time, we look forward to acting village manager Satchel to serve at the time when he's gone. There is no disciplinary action taking place, there's no suspension taking place, he's just on leave, and that's all we'll talk about. All right. Next on the agenda, public comments. Public comment, you gotta give your name, you do not have to give your address, you have 3 minutes.
Ms. Raymond?
The name is Lucille Redmond. I got a few issues. First of all, I've been waiting patiently for my sidewalk to be completed. It hasn't been completed just yet. They did part of it, but not the rest of it. Why? I need my sidewalk completed. That's one thing. The village has an ordinance about stray cats. I went to Mr. Johnson in animal control. I went to Mr. Duncan, his supervisor. Okay, I went to Mr. Duncan. Now, first of all, when he was counsel, he told me that he can't catch cats. But he was kind enough to offer me a cage so I can catch cats. I told him, you can catch my baby. Besides that, you getting paid over $30 an hour to catch cats. Okay? That didn't work. So I went to Mr. Duncan. I even gave Mr. Duncan the addresses of where these cats are hibernating. These cats are causing a problem for me. It's too many cats. We have a regular cat patrol going on over there, okay? I have to remote start my car, even in the summertime, so that they can get out from under my car so I don't run over them. They are all over the place. They're scratching with the little carpet that I had on my steps. I had to put that there for cats. There is an ordinance that somebody needs to follow. I shouldn't have to catch cats. And if you hire someone that cannot catch cats, you need to get rid of it, because it is part of their job, okay? Also, Massive Act is a joke. I've been trying to get on that Massive Act to report a light out in my neighborhood between 3rd and 4th on Walnut. It's been out for over a month. I can't figure out how to get on that Massive, whatever that is. Okay? None of the village emails work. Nobody answers the phone, but everybody's getting paid. People are getting raises, high salaries, and things of that sort, but we're not getting services. What's up with that? Something's radically wrong here that needs to be corrected. We need somebody that can catch cats. I need somebody that can finish my sidewalk. The sidewalk belongs, in case people didn't know, the sidewalk belongs to the village. That's the village's responsibility. My taxpaying dollars have already paid for that. So I don't do 50-50 sidewalk program. You're not going to pay for my house, I'm not going to help you pay for the sidewalk. Okay, what else is that? Almost no, the emails don't work, almost nobody answers the phone. Why are we paying top dollars and not receiving any services? One more thing. We have a guy that's in IT. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Sappho.
Hi, my name is Albert Sappho. In 1993, I bought a property, 509 South 6th Avenue. This property is, at that time, built in 1922. I've always maintained the property, kept it up as much as I can and all that here. Some years back, the gutter was bad. So I went to change the gutter, and I was told by the village employee at that time that it had to be maintained up to code standards ordinance for today. I said, okay, fine, I did that. It works well, spring and summer. But we don't live in spring and summer. Winter came. My property is all concrete. Winter came, and I had an ice rink out there. I was falling, my wife was falling. Village manager came out, village employee came out, and I spoke with them and told them about it. They provided salt, they provided other things to try to keep the ice down. So they told me that my problem was that my downspout should have moved to the side. Okay, I moved my downspout to the side. What did I do? I kept my problem, but now I took my problem to the public. Because now, because I have an alley, the water that's coming off my roof is now running down on my property, out into the alley, out into the sewer. I asked him, I said, what's the difference? It's either going in the drain here or in the sewer, the drain there. He said, well, the ordinance says this. So I asked, where was this ordinance in 1922 and why wasn't it enforced? And in 1993, why did they allow me to buy this property, knowing that it did not comply with village ordinance, to turn around and tell me now I have to comply with the ordinance? A year ago, I talked to the village employee and I asked him, I said, hey, this is the problem I have. I explained it to him. He said, okay, well, I don't know about the grandfather clause, but go ahead and do it. I said, well, I indicated the grandfather clause and I will read it to you. The grandfather clause is a provision that exempts existing situations from new laws or regulations, allowing individuals or businesses already engaged in an activity to continue under the old rules, which is me. So then he said, no, okay, well, go ahead and change it anyway. I said, okay. Unfortunately, my finances did not allow me to do it this time. But because winter's coming, I think this is a matter that's very unsafe for me and the public. So I asked again, can I go and do it? He said, no, let me take a look at it. I said, okay, we have an appointment set up for Friday at 1 o'clock. When he shows up, let me know, because he hasn't showed up yet. So I'm looking at now, asking this board, can you tell me a good way to resolve this matter? Because I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars at the village's instructions on trying to manage this situation, but I'm still faced with now, winter's coming. We're gonna end it with water back out to that alley, back out the driveway. I'm at risk, the public's at risk. Let the emergency vehicle go down there. It's about like you not salting these streets. So if the village wants to accept their responsibility, then fine, accept their responsibility. But I would like a permanent solution from this board and this president, and this mayor at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stepler.
That's it.
All right. Ms. Redmond, I've heard you on the phone with Ms. Banks, so I know you know her phone number works. 708-450-6366 if you have any issues. So I would say give Ms. Banks a call about the sidewalk issues. With the stray cats, Director Duncan is in the back, so he'll get with Mr. Johnson in regards to the stray cats. Let me say give Ms. Banks again on My Civic. It's really a simple app. So if you go to the Apple Store, or if you go to Ms. Banks, gonna get you right now. So you can report in My Civic because it's real simple. All right. So y'all get with each other later. And then Mr. Sappho, I'll say again, Director Duncan is right in the back, so I'm sure he heard you. So you guys can get together and figure out that issue since 1993, so we don't have to deal with it anymore. With that being said, one more public comment. We have Cook County here today with Mr. Al Kendall, who wants to come and give us some information. So, Mr. Kendall?
Yep. Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Good evening.
My name is Officer Al Campbell, Special Assistant for Cook County Board President Tony Franklin. Special Assistant, one of my duties is to go around the various council meetings and present and let people know the different things that we have going on that you may have missed. First, we want to thank the mayor for being a great partner with the president and working with us on any various activities, both within Maywood and across Cook County at large. We also want to thank the mayor for having been a panelist on the president's radio show. The president has a radio show she's on every third Sunday from 7 to 8 called First Take at Daybreak, which you were a panelist with four of the mayors. And you talked about addressing the need of the snack prices and all the various activities that are happening here in Maywood, how people get connected. And I want to underscore to everyone that although the Chicago Food Depository is trying to address it, that only addresses 1 in 8 meals. So there are a lot of people who will go unfed. And so, to your point, we need everyone to step up. And at the ChicagoFoodBank.org/find food or 773-247-3663. That's the number to the Chicago Food Bank, which you can get food depository. You can get resources from them. Or we have what's called 211, which is unknown to many people. It's a service that, and I have flyers, I give it to the mayor for a few to have. This service is similar to 911. It will connect you to the host of all services that are connected to Cook County. This includes mental health, hospital, and/or if you have someone that has a desire for food insecurities. So they call 211 and get connected to all of the various county services. Some that I mentioned briefly, in addition to more. All right? That includes mental health, because we've invested over $300 million in mental health services across Cook County, and some of those providers are in this community. And then lastly, we have looking for 88 businesses to give up to $100,000 to. It's called our Catalyst Grant. And we've extended the deadline to that to November the 14th. November the 14th is the deadline by which they can apply. It has a set of criteria with it, but I'm sure many of you know a business who may want to consider, and we have partners that work with those who are applicants to get their applications in. So those are just some of the brief things. My number is 313-434-3851. 313-434-3851. I turn my phone off at 1 a.m. Before 1 a.m., you can get me, but after that time, I'm not available. You can send me a text, but just know I will respond. So I do text early night. And you can send me a text if you want me to send you any of these, what I just mentioned today. There are other things, and this coming Sunday, the mayor doesn't know it, but he will be on the show for a brief 5 to 6 minutes. Is he gonna announce
Yes,
these
sir.
things that you just talked about? So I want to thank you for giving me a few moments of your time, and I yield back about the 30 seconds. I finished under 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Goodman.
All right, my pleasure.
All right. Village manager's report. Do we have anything for the village manager's report?
Mayor?
Trustee Jones?
Yes, just a few things for, just to be on the radar maybe for our next meeting as we go forward. So, well, one thing I was happy to see progress over on 5th Avenue, 5th and Washington, and I'm bringing that up because I see some removal of that dirt pile that's over there, so I'm happy to see that, and I like to continue to see that. So as we move on from 5th and Washington, we're going to head south. The village that former Maywood Market, that building, and a status update. So Mayor, I know you mentioned at the last meeting about a state grant that was given to the village. I would like to see some support on it just because I'm wondering how the village is going to move forward with our current MOU with Living Fresh, and what's the status update of that, just kind of given the current dynamic and how we're planning on moving forward. And then also, I guess the last thing in terms of that 5th and Washington area would be next steps in terms of the Widow's Home. I'm sorry, not Widow's Home. Fellows Home, thank you. I know we just kind of spoke on that, but I just want to make sure that the developers know that, there's, including myself, people in the community that are interested in keeping that building, that integrity of that building, the historical, preservation of that. So I just want to make sure I just kind of threw that out. That just speaks to the village manager. And then the last thing is my request would be in terms of bid waivers. So I've been kind of calling this out for a while. I would like for us to look at the policy, review it, adhere to it, and if we're going to need to utilize a bid waiver, if we can put a reason next to it. So whether it be emergency, whether it be X, Y, and Z, but ultimately my expectation is that we're going to follow that policy just to ensure that based on that policy, expenditures over a certain amount of money needs to have a bid process so we can ensure that we're getting the most bang for our buck, that we're also applying to, there's supposed to be certain vendors that we're using, that we're adhering to that, and just to avoid the appearance of anything. That's important. Whether there's something happening or not, that's not the point. It's the appearance. And so, are we giving the appearance that we're not doing, that we're following that? So, some of this stuff, I get it. If it's an emergency, if it falls within that threshold, but I would just like to see going forward kind of a recommitment to looking at that and understanding how we can think ahead. We're going to be going through the budget process, and like all this stuff is projected, forecasted. So there's not that many emergencies in this village. It shouldn't be. You get some water mains here and there. You get, I think about other, there's other stuff that happens, but generally speaking, everything else is planned. So I don't understand that approach. Because timing, we want to get it done fast is not a reason, or that's my buddy. That's actually the reason why we have it in there. So, not saying anything, I just like to see that going forward, that we just have a recommitment to it. That my message is for the village manager.
Mayor.
Trustee Green.
Yeah, I just want to ensure that the village just don't repeat the same mistakes as it relates to the last budget fiscal year, and that those conversations start much earlier than they did, and that we started actually next month with the board setting out a calendar of when this dais or when this board would receive the first draft of the budget. To be honest, I was extremely traumatized by the experience this past budget cycle, and having only 24 hours to review a $50, $60 million budget, to review it, make recommendations, and to approve it. And so it is my hope, and this is as we prepare to, and I know Laie has the background, the financial background, but we start these conversations early, and we start making sure that the department heads are on time and on task with submitting their budgets, and that this board has ample amount of time to properly review it, make recommendations, and to approve it. So I would like to see the first draft that I'm gonna put on the table by no later than February 1st. And so that gives them some time frame to be able to communicate amongst themselves and their respective departments, to have everything in order, and something should be submitted to this entire board by no later than February 1st for us to review it, make recommendations, and to approve it as well.
Okay. All right. Well, we definitely don't want you to be traumatized.
But don't be re-traumatized. Traumatized is the first thing. Re-traumatized.
I want your PTSD to kick in.
Yeah.
So we'll work on having a draft budget February, review it in March, so that we can get approved in April before the May 1st budget starts. I think when we think about last year, it was the village manager's first year. It was a lot of transitioning going on, and there was also an election year, so there's a lot going on. But definitely we could get that February draft, March approval to get it approved before the May 1st. Fifth in Washington is still being cleaned up, yes. So JPEG will continue to clean up that area. The Odd Fellows building, we already in closed session agreed to an LOI. So we're just waiting for that redevelopment agreement to come back before the board. Yeah. So grocery store, we did get awarded the $2.5 million from the state. There was an allocation from the state in regards to Senator Lightfoot and Speaker Welch, definitely making sure that we get that $2.5 million of funding to get the grocery store reopened. Right now, they've identified a project manager for the grocery store reopening. The village will probably get some paperwork either December or January to get the process going in regards to the agreement that we're still working out. And then they're looking forward to open it by the third quarter, second or third quarter, summer 2026. Odd Fellows, again, the redevelopment agreement in place, and then bid waivers. I'm gonna say the same thing I say every time. Bid waivers have been on this board packet since 2019 when you and I both joined the board. So it's not like it's something new. The bid waiver process is a legal, legitimate process to go through. It's not saying that village staff is not doing their due diligence and looking at 3, 4, 5 different proposals. It's just simply saying to not have every single proposal have 3 different people coming to present their thought process, trusting staff and their professionalism to go through the process of saying these are the people that they would like to work with. So there's nothing wrong with the bid waiver process.
No.
But
Trust but verify. I trust you, but also my job.
So trust me.
Verify.
So your trust but verify would be when you get the board packet, if you see a bid waiver, you could simply send an email to the village manager, assistant village manager, and say, hey, what are the companies that we look at? Are there any other contracts that were considered? And the answer is going to be yes. It's not like they just get a break from nothing, right?
Can we
So I
incorporate
think,
that?
so at the
So I
end
don't
of
have to ask, like, can we incorporate it? Because then that's me essentially addressing my concern, is that, are we actually doing that? So, yeah, I mean, it's one thing to say, because that, oh, we did all that, we just did a big waiver because.
they did their job.
I guess, I'm just
That's
saying,
not
we can talk
policy.
about it with the
Yeah.
manager, but
I got you.
but what you're saying is, well, why don't you just ask every time? I'm gonna ask every time.
I'm saying if there's a specific thing that you have a question of, like if you look at the omnibus agenda, tonight we have an omnibus agenda of LL, right? So that's nearly 50 items on the omnibus agenda. To sit there and say we want to go through 3 different contracts means that we're not trusting staff to be hired to do their job. That's essentially what we're saying, when we're not looking at bid waivers. So bid waivers, again, has been a thing that was before you and I joined this board. It's been a thing on every board packet since we've been a part of this board. It's not a new thing. That's all I'm just saying. So if there's something specific that you want to know about or have a concern about, just shoot me. That's all I'm saying.
Mayor,
Trustee Brandon.
yeah, I just want to add some institutional knowledge and conversation. So really the purpose of a bid waiver is supposed to be utilized in case of emergencies,
Okay.
not just because we wanted to buy something that is not an emergency. So a lot of these things, and I do concur with Trustee Jones, they are not emergency things. And there should be things that are like well planned and well thought out, like well in advance, so that staff can do their due diligence to, get those additional or 2 additional quotes in to make sure a few things, that you're getting the best bang for your buck as well, and that you don't create a situation that could open up some doors for some inappropriate activity to happen as well. And the other thing is, it just allows other people to participate in the process versus a situation where that we have experienced on this board, that whole shaking hands type of deal, you do this and I got you, that whole type of deal. This is a professional organization, a governmental organization. And at the end of the day, we are, talking about taxpayers' dollars and resources. So in order for us to be good stewards of those resources, it's important for us to, have those, different layers of protection or those protection factors in place to be able to protect taxpayers' dollars. That's just some institutional.
So from an institutional knowledge standpoint, trustee, I would say, if you could go, you've been on the board 11 years, show me a board packet that didn't have a big waiver on it. Like, that's the part. It's this is not like it's something new, and the creation of there's a there's not a there there. Board packets have had bid waivers for decades.
Because
right?
there was emergency matters.
It's not emergencies. Again,
Okay.
as I've said, if you guys have a question, because here's the part, we are now 20 minutes into the village manager's report with nothing of a question about the village manager's report, just you guys' commentary. So if there is a question about a specific thing, please do ask. Other than that, bid waivers are a normal practice since the day you joined the board over a decade ago.
For emergency related items.
Okay.
Not just for like everyday items.
Thank
Like,
you,
I
Trustee.
need to buy some tissue. Let me do it, or I need to these are things that you should plan or, more, not just be
Thanks, Trustee.
purchasing things and waiving bids.
Moving on to the village attorney's report. Does anybody have anything under the village attorney's report? All right. Hearing none, and we have no trustee reports. Any on this agenda?
Well, Mayor, may I ask a question about trustee committee? Is this going to be on the December
9th.
meeting? Oh, I'm sorry, the committees, because one thing that I reached out via email about was, so we are in the process, so this would be like my fiscal accountability, government transparency, just brief note, is that I reached out about the status of our audits. So we are, currently we're in good standing, but we still need to complete the filing of our fiscal year 2024-2025 audit. At that point, I requested for Baker Tilly to come out and to talk about the results in front of the board. There was some sort of communication, essentially who should lead that. So should I reach out, or should in terms of the manager or assistant village manager? I would like to coordinate that. Once we're done, we can talk about our the results in front of the board, and then also, there's, because that'll also be a cue for, you mentioned, bond ratings and, assessing those type of things. So since we started to reach there, I just want to make sure that's on the radar.
As I replied to your email, Baker Tilly is a part of the December 9th presentation.
Oh, they are.
I responded to that to you.
December, so that's the board meeting, or I'm
That's the
sorry.
board retreat.
Okay, so, all right, so yeah, you're right. So that's what I was saying is wait, hold on. So you're right about that. What I'm saying is that I like for them to come to a board meeting. So instead of the board retreat, I want them to come to a board meeting to talk about, but this is the public's money too, not just ours, and
Trustee,
actually talk about that. So
the actual audits are on the village website. Any resident that wants to view the audit is more than welcome to go into the finance department under the village website. We don't need a special presentation for that. It's a viewable document that anybody who wants to download can download. If they have any questions in regard to the audit, they are more than welcome to email Ms. Banks or email the Director of Finance. I think when we first joined the board, we were behind in audits, so we are caught up in our audits.
well, not
Our
yet.
audits are, we are in the actual last fiscal year, so that is caught up. We can actually find out what our bondability is, which we haven't been able to do in over a decade, right? So,
I
near
understand we're past
But
the
I'm
deadline,
just-
is all I'm saying.
the words matter, right? This is the first time in over a decade the village Maywood has been able to get our bondability because we're caught up in our audits. We are in the current audit fiscal review right now, so narrative matters, language matters, words matter. We are not behind in our audits. We are currently, if you want to view the audit, can go to the village website and download it right now in real time. You don't need a presentation for it. But I hear you. December 9th, Baker Tilly will be here to answer whatever questions you might have in regards to topic.
Rick,
Trustee Brendan.
I'm sorry.
We
But yeah,
are all one
yeah,
tonight.
I know. I just, and you just mentioned something about how words matter. So I just wanted to just go off that piece.
Sure.
So, and I think you guys came on 2019, you and Trustee Jones. We were not behind in our audits in 2019. The village of Maywood was, we were caught up at that time. Just because words matter.
Words matter. When I became mayor, we were behind. We're caught up.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, but-
On with this agenda, I need a motion. Please, somebody read.
I'll make a motion.
Come on. Trustee Jones. Come on.
So I'm smart to read.
Hey. Second.
I can read and I can read.
You got a motion from Trustee Jones and a second from Trustee Williams. Please read the omnibus. One note, based on the documents that you guys have, on GG, that amount, instead of the $35,855, should be $27,300. And then under LL should be cut because it's KK. And KK, based on the attachment that you guys have received, is AMU Architects. Instead of the United States Architect.
Sorry, exclude instead of.
So AMU Architects, AMU. Avenue.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yeah. We both agree. So GG changing from 35,000 to 27,300, and then cutting LL for KK, AMU Architects instead of the United States.
All right, good. All right, A, motion to approve the monthly financial report in the amount of $2,039,139.44. B, motion to approve the warrant list 200566 dated October 29, 2025 in the amount of $3,162,718.34. C, motion to authorize execution of a letter to the North Central Council of Mayors reaffirming the Village of Maywood's commitment to completing various SDP projects for federal fiscal years 2026 to 2029. C, Village Engineering Memo dated October 22nd, 2025. D, motion to approve Police Chief Elijah Wills' request for approval for gun busters to destroy firearms in accordance with Maywood Police Department policy at no cost to the village. See village staff memorandum dated October 9, 2025. E, motion to approve Police Chief Elijah Wills' request to purchase 5 Taser 7 basic bundle packages from Exxon Enterprise Incorporated in the amount of $14,608.80. F, an ordinance amending Schedule 3, no parking zones of Chapter 76 of Title 7, Traffic Code of the Maywood Village Code relative to the creation of no parking zones on certain portions of Lexington Street in the village of Maywood. G, an ordinance approving a special use for an educational facility, vocational school at 905 South 5th Avenue, Unit B property, Fresh Start Innovation. H, an ordinance approving lot size, lot width, and front yard setback variations for a redevelopment project on property at 429 South 14th Avenue and 431 South 14th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois. BP Opportunity Investments. I, an ordinance approving lot size, lot width, and front yard setback variations for a redevelopment project on property at 203 South 15th Avenue and 205 South 15th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois. BP Opportunity Investments, LLC. An ordinance approving a First Amendment to a redevelopment agreement with BP Opportunity Investment LLC regarding redevelopment of various properties, 711 South 9th Avenue, 431 South 14th Avenue, and 1114 South 2nd Avenue. K, an ordinance approving a First Amendment to a redevelopment agreement with BP Opportunity Investments LLC regarding redevelopment of various properties, 4 South 20th, 126 South 13th Avenue, 203/205 South 15th Avenue. L, a resolution approving the regular meeting schedule of the combined committee of the whole village board meeting of the president board of trustees of the village of Maywood for calendar year 2026. M, a resolution authorizing the submittal of an application for funding of roadway improvements through the Federal Surface Transportation Program, Local 2030-2031, federal fiscal year, project boundaries, Main Street from 21st Avenue to 1st Avenue, Washington Boulevard from 9th Avenue to 1st, and 9th Avenue to Roosevelt Road to Madison. And a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of a professional engineering services agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for professional engineering services for the Randolph Street ADA curb ramp improvement project. O, resolution approving the local public agency agreement for federal participation to be entered into the village of Maywood and the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, and for the appropriation of village funds for the purpose of paying for the local agency share related to the construction of certain street improvements along 5th Avenue under IDOT project 38K7409, state job number. P, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of the Illinois Department of Transportation local public agency engineering services agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for furnishing of Phase 3 construction engineering services for the 5th Avenue Improvements Project and for the appropriation and expenditure of certain village funds to pay for the engineering services. Q, a resolution approving the local public agency agreement for federal participation to be entered into the village of Maywood and the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, and for the appropriation of village funds for the purpose of paying for the local agency share related to the construction of pedestrian safety improvements at Garfield Elementary School under IDOT project number DS43688. R, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an Illinois Department of Transportation local public agency engineering services agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for furnishing of Phase 3 construction engineering services for the pedestrian safety improvements at Garfield Elementary School project and for the appropriation and expenditure of certain village funds to pay for the engineering services. S, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an engineering agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for Phase 1 and 2 engineering services for the 5th Avenue resurfacing improvement project and for the appropriation and expenditure of Roosevelt Street tax increment financing district funds and general corporate funds to pay for the Phase 1 preliminary and Phase 2 design engineering services related to the project. T, a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of the settlement agreement and general release and authorizing payment of settlement funds in the lawsuit of Michael Richardson versus the village of Maywood. U, a resolution determining the estimated village of Maywood real estate tax levy for year 2025. V, a resolution authorizing and approving the execution of redevelopment agreement and sale of certain village-owned real property commonly known as 512 South 5th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, at Gary Development LLC for the redevelopment. W, a resolution authorizing the filing and prosecution of a demolition action relative to the abandoned, unsafe building located at 62 South 19th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, and approving and authorizing the expenditure of general village funds or other available funding sources. X, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of the proposed dates October 17, 2025 from Just FOIA, an MCCI brand of Tallahassee, Florida, in the amount of $17,816.25 for the annual recurring services and one-time setup services of $5,120 for the purchase and implementation of a software solution to assist with village document searches and tracking and processing of FOIA requests. Y, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of proposal dated October 30, 2025 from Office Furniture Center of Chicago, Illinois, in the total amount of $7,330 for the purchase of new replacement furniture for the village clerk's office to replace water damaged furniture. Motion Z, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of an invoice dated September 25th, 2025 from GA Paving LLC of Bellwood, Illinois, in the amount of $65,000 for performance of certain concrete curb and street paving repairs and painting of upgraded color pattern and village logo markings of the basketball courts at Connor Heights Memorial Park. AA, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of an invoice dated September 29, 2025 from GA Paving LLC of Bellwood, Illinois, in the amount of $22,000 for the performance of certain sewer repair within 1,000 blocks of First Avenue. BB, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of the services invoice dated July 23rd, 2025 from Interstate Power Systems of Carroll Springs, Illinois, in the amount of $22,461.32 for the transmission replacement work of Fire Department Ladder Truck 502. CC, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of an invoice dated June 25th, 2025 from GA Paving of Bellwood, Illinois, in the amount of $28,000 for the performance of alley asphalt restoration at 1117 South 7th Avenue and 701 Lake Street. DD, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of an invoice dated October 27, 2025 from Hackey General Construction Group of Bolingbrook, Illinois, in the amount of $25,795 for performance of certain concrete street repairs, water main break repairs, and storm sewer main repairs of 1820 South 5th Avenue. EE, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of an invoice dated August 28, 2025 from GA Paving LLC of Bellwood, Illinois, in the total amount of $44,500 for the reconstruction of the basketball courts at Connor Heights Memorial Park, $41,000 performance of sewer repair within Maybrook Drive near the Maybrook Courthouse for $3,500. FF, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of an invoice dated August 18, 2025 from FMJ Dimensions of North Lake, Illinois, in the amount of $78,350 for certain electrical work and light pole installations for the basketball courts at Connor Heights Memorial Park. GG, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of a lease quote from LiveView Technologies Incorporated of Orem, Utah, in the total annual amount of $35,855 for the lease of one pole-mounted surveillance camera for mobile deployment and use by the Maywood Police Department and its related annual camera lease subscription fee. Actually, I think I was supposed to say $27,300 for GG, right? Yeah, so I'll take that. H, motion to authorize a bid waiver and approval of a bid proposal dated October 23rd, 2025, and issued by Core and Main Street of St. Charles, Illinois, in the amount of $8,510 for the purchase of a 20-inch micrometer flow meter, okay, for installation at a pump station, and an estimate date of October 24, 2025, and issued by Geno's Heating and Plumbing Incorporated of Broadview, Illinois, in the amount of $1,400 for the installation of the water heater. I, ordinance amending section 9228, garbage and refuse, chapter 92, health and sanitation nuances, title 9, general regulations of the Maywood Village Code relative to the penalty for unlawful dumping of garbage and or refuse on the property of another. JJ, motion to designate finance director Maya Satchel to serve as acting village manager until such time as the village board withdraws the designation in accordance with subsection 30.04 of the Maywood Village Code and subsection X4 of the village fiscal and investment policy. KK, resolution approving a section 8 waiver to the request for qualification process under the Local Government Professional Services Selection Act and approval and authorizing the execution of proposals for certain professional architectural services from Stephen Amu Architect. And project manager services within A2N Engineering Group. Oh no, so don't say anything. Okay, just, all right. Stephen Amu Architect. All right, and then L, we're not doing one.
All right, let's go. Trustee Britton.
I was going back to the property for 62 South 19th.
Wait, which item? I'm sorry.
I just lost it, I'm sorry. It was about the demolition of the property on the old Harrison's place on 19th and St. Charles. W. Yeah, item number W.
Okay.
Can we go back? Was Duncan here? Duncan?
I think he left.
Yeah, I just had some concerns about this demolition. I read the memo, and the memo was saying that we could not reach the owner of the property. And so I had some questions in regards to what methods we use, because I know some folks in the community that know the son. And so before we tear down the property, I just want to make sure that we exhausted all options as it relates to this particular property. And the other question I had as well, if this is something that before we tear it down, are there any things that we could do from a repair standpoint to fix it before we just went to tear it down? So I had some questions pertaining to this particular property, and the reason why I bring it up, because I am familiarized with the situation that happened where we, tore down some property, and there was a lawsuit that happened, and all that good stuff, and it wasn't in the village paper. So I do know a community member that knows the son, and so that's, I just want to bring it to the table in regards to, just because I was reading in the memo, and it stated that the village had tried to reach a relative, and I just want to put that on the table, that I do know someone in the community that do know the son of the property at 62 South 19th Avenue.
So the one thing I'll say is, I know the son, Bill Clarence. The property hasn't paid its taxes in 9 years since Mr. Clarence passed away. So it's not, yes, in regards to inheritance, it is the son's, but Clarence and I, we graduated together. So the property taxes have not been paid on that property since Mr. Clarence passed away. But I'll leave it to attorney.
Right.
Comment.
But the language in there stated that the village, of course, the language of the memo, the village made attempts to reach.
So the attempt to reach out to him would have been, in order for him to keep the property, he'd have to concur with the property taxes. But attorney, Mars.
Yes, so what the memo means is staff tried to reach him. Now we're authorizing a legal action, in which case we have to take certain steps to get notice. If you want to pass along, either one of you want to pass along the son's information, we'll reach out and try to connect and make sure we're talking to whoever we need to. to ensure that they're properly served.
Yeah, and yeah, so I would just like to pull, because I would want to make sure that my vote is going to be no on that particular item. So I just want to pull that and
Okay.
start to vote no.
All right.
So, Mayor, I guess the question is this just authorizing us to begin the legal process of,
Correct.
so this is not authorizing us to tear down this building?
No,
It's just to start the legal
we're
process.
ways
It's going through the process of saying, you haven't paid taxes in nine years, the property is falling apart, the village has put investment into boarding it up, keep maintaining it, keep it updated, we need to do something.
And can I add, for a demolition, it's short for demolition or repair action, it's all part of the same thing. So if an owner comes forth and steps before the court and says, hey, I can repair this, courts will generally give them an opportunity.
Yeah, and so, and that is, you know, and I'm hearing what you said, attorney, and hearing what Mayor Booker said in regards to the tax situation on the property. But what I would like to hear as well is, you know, if we're going to pay money to tear down the building, what are the potential costs to fix it, right? You know, so I would just like to look at, you know, both of those perspectives. And I don't know how that would even work, but most certainly, you know.
So the understanding that this is a start of a process, are you still wanting to pull it to vote no?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll pull W. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
trustee Sanchez,
Trustee Sanchez.
trustee Jones,
Aye.
trustee Ousley,
Aye.
trustee Smiley, trustee Brandon,
Aye.
Mayor Booker,
Aye.
motion carried.
All right, need a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the filing and prosecution of a demolition action relative to the abandoned unsafe building located at 62 South 19th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, and approving and authorizing the expenditure of general funds or other available fund sources.
So move.
Motion by trustee Williams, I need a second. Second by trustee Sanchez, please call the roll.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
trustee Sanchez, trustee Jones,
Aye.
trustee Ousley,
Aye.
trustee Smiley, trustee Brandon,
No.
Mayor Booker,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, so we have no new business, no old business, board of trustee comments, for information only. There's nothing to go in closed session for, so I need a motion to adjourn.
So we're not going to vote?
Motion by trustee Sanchez, need a second?
Wait,
Second by trustee Ousley.
question.
Trustee Green.
I thought we were going into closed session to discuss Frank Torres and his absence, because I did have some questions regarding that, and based on the response from the attorney, he said that that the matter has to be discussed in executive session, and that we were going to discuss it in the executive session as well.
So trustee Green, I would say get with attorney offline. Trustees, the village manager will legally, we can't speak about it in closed session.
Right, you can't share details
Right.
for privacy reasons, even in closed session, but I can connect you with Carlos.
Trustee, it's not a topic, we can't talk about it.
Okay, I just thought we had to approve,
We don't.
I mean, we've approved the appointment.
well, you all were told me that we were going to discuss it in the executive session.
I apologize.
So look at me like I'm crazy for asking a question. It's crazy to me. So I'm saying to myself saying, huh? Well, they told me that we were going to be discussing
I sent you an email saying
in
you can't
executive
discuss
session. And
Motion to adjourn.
he said tonight we're not discussing.
So there's a
I'm
motion
confused.
and a second. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
trustee Sanchez, trustee Jones, trustee Ousley, trustee Smiley, trustee Brandon,
No.
Mayor Booker.
Hi.
Motion
Everyone,
carried.
have a
Time
lovely
is
night. Thank you so
8:18.
much.